Really trying to give Debut with like the natural hair, and I feel like this top was giving Debut, but I don't know if it's working. Is this better? Is this giving Debut? Just another picture to burn. Oh, should've said no. You should've gone home. Should've thought twice before you let it all go. Charlie's not feeling the Debut vibe. Hey everybody, and welcome to the first video in the Taylor Swift book recommendation series. I don't know why I still have these on. Don't need them on while I'm just sitting here. I can't remember if it was in a vlog or where I had asked you guys. I had thought up this idea of, like, obviously I love books and I love Taylor Swift. If you guys saw this whole entire room, it would be very apparent as soon as you walk in here that I love Taylor Swift and I love books. Why not mash the two together? But it's just very overwhelming to try to get recommendations all at once, every single album, every single song. So I thought that we would make it into a series, and every month, yes, this will be a monthly thing, I would go album by album in chronological order and tell you guys some recommendations from the album and the songs on the album. Obviously, we have to start off the debut video of the series by talking about Taylor Swift's first album, which is obviously self-titled Taylor Swift, but we kind of refer to it as Debut. I thought that it would be pretty fun to do a little bit of lore about each album. The album Taylor Swift was released on October 4th, 2006, which, fun fact, would actually put me at 3. The lore about Taylor Swift is this was her very first album. Obviously, it is a debut album. She actually moved to Nashville when she was 14 years old and released this album when she was 16, literally only 16. The album itself was written by Taylor Swift, but she had some help and co-written, and it was said in an interview that basically Liz Rose basically just kind of looked and edited a few things for her. So mainly this album was written by Taylor Swift herself. The hit songs off of this album were definitely Picture to Burn, Tim McGraw, which actually went platinum. So with that being said, where does Debut fall in my personal taste? I will say this, that I do not listen to Debut as the album. Like, the percentage of songs that I listen to off of Debut probably is one of the least. I would probably say the least amount from all of her albums, but I strictly think because, as I said, when this album was released, I was 3 years old, so it didn't have as much as a hit with me, because I do remember growing up and hearing everybody, and me and my mom talk about this, that like my brother had a talent show at school, and literally every single girl at the talent show sang Teardrops on My Guitar at the talent show. Like, I can remember the songs from Debut, and I have like distant memories of like people loving it, but it was not personal to me. My first personal like Taylor Swift albums were Fearless and Speak Now, Red, and 1989. Those are like my 4 from my childhood that I remember that had like such a big impact on me. So the nostalgia with Taylor Swift for me, it doesn't start here, but I will say this does have one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs for like a feel good song, and does hold one of the songs that I personally see for like my relationship that I listen to all of the time that just reminds me of me and my boyfriend. I thought that I would give you guys a little bit of my thoughts of the album. Obviously, I still love Debut. I love everything, and it's pretty funny when you go back and listen to these and hear her little country accent. I'm gonna start from the top of the album to the bottom of the album, so let's get into some book recommendations. Starting off strong, we have Tim McGraw, which this is again the song from the album that went platinum. Now, when you listen to Tim McGraw, I hope you think of me. On a real note, when you think about the song Tim McGraw, I definitely see this song as a shared history between people. Obviously, they have had a relationship in the past, they've shared these moments, and there's basically like this big thing. And for this, it's like Taylor Swift's favorite artist was Tim McGraw, so it's like when you listen to Tim McGraw, I hope that you always think about me. And even at the end of the song, it's kind of open-ended a little.
Find that in your Apple Music library.
Anyway, at the end there, it's also kind of open-ended, like they run into each other again for the first time. She leaves the note at the front door, and it's kind of open-ended, like will they end up back together, will they not? With that, I'm giving you these recommendations. So first and foremost, since this is a country album, obviously when I went to my recommendations, I am thinking country, but for this one I'm going to say Powerless. This is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Spring series, which I would definitely recommend. The whole entire series, I will say that you do need to read the other 2 books books before you get to this one, just because it makes more sense, and honestly it's a series that I would just recommend reading that way. You have two people and they kind of grew up together around each other. One of them always had feelings for the other, but there's definitely things about the other person that when they think about that thing, they think about the other person. So there's a past shared between them, and they have this thing where they have to cross paths again. There's literally a scene that I'm thinking of in particular that the guy has this specific thing that he thinks of with the girl, that he does this thing. Like, I don't want to give this scene away because it's one of the best scenes in the book, but it is absolutely amazing, and obviously Chestnut Springs is giving like the greatest country vibe, so I would 100% say Powerless. I hate that stupid old pickup truck, you never let me drive. Obviously we're talking about Picture to Bird. Picture to Bird is definitely about a crappy ex-boyfriend, and you're thinking back on your relationship and you're so mad, and taking inspiration from the lyric, "Nothing's stopping me from going out with all of your best friends." With this recommendation, I'm giving you crappy ex-boyfriend, you're getting revenge with one of his friends or somebody that he knows. Both of these recommendations actually happen to be some of my favorite sports romances. First of all, we have The Fake Out. Now this one is also, oh wow, I kind of realized that a lot of these are kind of second and third books in the series, so I'm very sorry for that. This is a fake dating trope, but basically the girl has this really crappy ex-boyfriend that has gotten traded on to the NHL team that she works for. So Hazel and Rory decide to strike up a deal to fake date to get this guy to leave her alone and to make him mad, and they actually share a history together because they went to school together. Sorry, the ice cream truck is outside my house. And then we also kind of have that same type of plot with The Right Move. This is also a sports romance, and basically in this one you have Ryan and Indy, and this one is the second book in the Windy City series, and this is famously a lot of people's favorite in the series. In this one, Indy moves into Ryan's apartment because she just broke up with her long-term boyfriend, and basically they just kind of are getting revenge on this guy. That's not the whole entire plot, but it plays into it. Next up, I actually mashed together these two songs because I feel like they are pretty similar within their premise, and that is Teardrops on My Guitar and Invisible. I feel like the message behind both of these songs is unrequited love, or like one person who knows or hangs out with this other person, or you go to school with them, or you cross paths with this person and they do not know that you are like absolutely in love with them. Like, you watch them in relationships with other people, you have to talk to them through these relationships with other people. Meanwhile, the whole entire time you were like, I just want to be with you, I would treat you so much better, like I am in love with you, I've been in love with you forever, but I am forced to see you love somebody else. And also, as the reader, when you were reading these books, the moment that they like confess feelings, you're just like, it's one of the top 10 best things. Honestly, I really love books with this plot where it's like shared history, unrequited love for one of the other characters. It's usually both of them pining after each other. It is so good. We have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This one is two best friends that have been friends for a very long time, and both of them really like each other. She's a ballerina, he is a football star. Obviously it's unrequited love on both sides, and neither one of them knows the other one has feelings, and so they don't say anything because they don't want to ruin the really good friendship they have going on, and they both have to like see each other through these other relationships. It is so good, and honestly I really like recommending Sarah Adams books because they're closed-door romances. As she's went on, it's gotten a little bit more into the, but still not spicy. This one is also just so cute, so cheesy, and such a light and fun time. One that I feel like is infamous, friends to lovers, unrequited love, having these deep-rooted feelings for each other with years of history, and that is People We Meet on Vacation. I feel like this is one of the least talked about Emily Henry books. I reread it this year, actually for the first time since like my senior year of high school. This one you are following Alex and Poppy through, I think 10 years that you're following them through a span of time. They met in college. Their thing is like going on vacation with each other. You are having to watch them go through these vacations, but then it's like in the present where things are a little bit like rocky. They haven't talked in a while, and they're trying to go on this vacation, and she's trying to fix things between them. After the reread, like, I adored Alex in this book. I think that he's underrated. Next up, we have A Place in This World, which I would describe as I'm just a girl. This song literally, first of all, says it a lot within the song, but it's just kind of like trying to find your place in the world, not knowing what you're going to do, trying to figure out your life. And the song within itself, the vibe is giving me like Y2K Disney Channel. Like, it's giving me like, it would be in a montage scene of like a girl like looking out the window trying to figure her life out. But honestly, some of my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid's books came to mind. First of all, we have Maybe in Another Life. I really enjoy the backlist of Taylor Jenkins Reid. Obviously, I love her like Hollywood series. I feel like she really goes into like some different topics, like Forever Interrupted. You have After I Do, which is a really good book about kind of like marriage and keeping a relationship alive. Also have Once Your Loves, which is a book that I think about all the time that has stuck with me through years. This one's also a really, really interesting premise. Basically, you have our main character, Hannah Martin, and it literally says on the back of the book, if you listen to the song and what this says on the back of the book, at the age of 29, Hannah Martin still has no idea what she wants to do with her life. She has lived in 6 different cities and has held countless meaningless jobs since college, but on the heels of a disastrous breakup, she's finally returned to her hometown of Los Angeles to celebrate her first night back. Her best friend Gabby takes Hannah out to a bar where she bumps into her high school boyfriend Ethan. It's just past midnight when Gabby asks Hannah if she's ready to go. Ethan quickly offers to give her a ride later if she wants to stay. What happens if she leaves with Gabby? What happens if she leaves with Ethan? Basically, you kind of get this dual timeline of like what would happen if she chooses to go with her high school boyfriend, or what happens if she chooses to just like leave with her best friend. Literally, it says on the back of the book, has no idea what she wants to do with her life. She's been through all of this stuff. She's just a girl trying to figure her life out, and that is definitely what we explore in this book, but it's in a super interesting and unique way. But also we have 2 books from her Hollywood series, and it's actually pretty funny that I'm recommending these 2 back to back with each other because they're actually kind of like interconnected in a way. But first of all, we have Malibu Rising. I love this book. So basically you're following a family who is the family of like a big rock star, I think he was, or Mick Riva, right? She's a surfer and a model, and basically you're following this family dynamic. She is kind of the center of this family. She's kind of at this turmoil point in her life where she doesn't really know what's going on, and she's just trying to like figure out herself through like family and siblings and relationships and what's going on. We also have Carrie Soto is back, and this one, honestly, I really, really loved this one. It is about tennis primarily. But I feel like in this book, we really follow Carrie as a person and her figuring out her life with tennis, apart from tennis, and relationships and fixing friendships, and how she is as a person. And she is somebody that you just can't help but love. Next up, we have The Outside. Now, this song is definitely about somebody who kind of feels like they're on the outside. You're on the outside looking in. You're looking into people's window. You're seeing these people in friendships and in relationships, and you just don't feel like you fit in with these people. You definitely feel like an outcast. I wanted to put a happier twist and spin on this, and these are definitely books that like I feel like at the start you're like, wow, these people who are definitely lonely, isolated, but then they find a group of people that they mesh with, and it's kind of like found family. I would recommend the Natural series because definitely in the first book when we meet our main character Cassie, she is definitely kind of like on the outside. There's been some things that have happened to her. She has these abilities that are super unique, so she's thrown into this like FBI but for teenagers, and in that she finds all of these people that you meet in this series, and they become a found family. But I also find myself thinking about the Six of Crows duology because literally, if you guys know, these are a group of 6 characters who are definitely on the outs, and they don't really have anybody else except for the 6 of each other. Except for the other in the Six of Crows, and I just always try to recommend these books whenever I can. I actually really want to reread these this fall. This one, y'all, I was listening to this one on my walk this morning. This is Tied Together with a Smile, and this is definitely the book for the older sister type. You guys know, like if you see on TikTok and stuff, people are always talking about the older sister. This is definitely, when it comes to mind, of a character that holds the world on their shoulders and wants to look to everybody like they have everything together. They're completely happy, they're fine, they're satisfied with life, but on the inside they're breaking, and they don't want to show anybody that, but they are craving love, and they're sad, and they just want somebody to love. Again, one of my favorite Emily Henry books that I feel like just is not talked about enough is Book Lovers. This is definitely for the older sisters or for sisters in general. This one is our main character Nora is that kind of like NYC, they call her the shark. She's very ruthless, she's very powerful, like she loves her job. She kind of has to slow down a little bit and kind of comes to terms with these things within herself of like the past, loving people and relationships, and I would say this book is literally 100% Nora. Like if there's anybody that it is, it's 100% Nora. Next up is Stay Beautiful. Now this song's actually very sweet. I feel like it's giving 2 people who knew each other and shared these dreams with each other. Like somebody who before you got anything and everything you ever wanted, you told your dreams and aspirations to this person, and they wholeheartedly believed in you, and they were going to be there to support you whether they were going to be by your side when you achieve these goals or not. This one I definitely thought about the rule books, and it's actually in the same world as the cheat sheet. With this one you have an NFL player, and she is like a sports manager, I think, agent. She's a sports agent. Basically they share a past because they dated back in college before. Again, he was in the NFL, she had this dream career of hers, and they shared these dreams with each other, and they ended up breaking up, and now she has to be his sports agent. Then we have Should Have Said No. I feel like we all know Should Have Said No. It's one of the the big songs from debut. This one's kind of about a guy, obviously, that did you wrong, and you are going to get revenge on him, and he ends up regretting it, but you're moving on to bigger and better things. And so for this one, we have Betting on You by Lynn Painter, who I feel like is my favorite young adult author. In this one, we are following Charlie and Bailey, and basically they start fake dating for these different reasonings. It's mainly for Bailey doesn't want to have a stepdad, so he's like, I will fake date you, that way your stepdad hates me and he'll not want to date your mom. Honestly, it's just so silly, like something that a teenager would come up with. Also, Bailey kind of has this ex-boyfriend situation that's going on that she's struggling with in the book, and he is kind of helping her through that. Next up, we have the super sweet Mary song, or Oh My, Oh My. But this one is definitely giving childhood friends to lovers, like the type where it's like even the parents are all close and they're all like, ooh, you know, like what if they got together? First of all, obviously I'm going to say Love in Other Words. This is so apparent. It is my favorite childhood friends to lovers book ever, and I need more childhood friends to lovers because it's literally one of my favorite books in romances to read, like a subgenre, and I feel like I don't have a whole lot of them. We also had If He Had Been With Me for that, like our moms are talking about us getting together, they've grown up together, they have a deep history with each other. Another obvious one is the Summer I Turned Pretty series. This one literally is based upon the fact of like childhood friends and the moms looking at them and being like, ooh, like what if they got together? Like what if we were like mother-in-law? Like all of that stuff. And also I read this book like so long ago. I remember it was Childhood Friends to Lovers. It's a summary book, and they have to spend this summer that they're both trying to either redo or save the beach house that they grew up in with their families. Like both of their families would spend the summers at this house together, and it was again like one of those like shared history. Will they, won't they? Next up, we have Our Song, which is definitely a young adult vibe to me. Like it's definitely giving young adult, but it's also giving that like giddy feeling of like when you first start dating somebody, maybe you guys have to be like a little secretive with your relationship and just kind of keep it private between you guys, but you have like this giddy feeling. Like Our Song is the slamming screen door, sneaking out late, tapping on your window because we're on the phone, you talk real slow because it's late and your mama don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Just like that type of like, it's giddy, it's cute, it's fun. For that like giddy and fun vibe, I would say Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I know that in like every single book recommendation video, I am recommending this book, but it's one of my 5-star reads of the year and I love it so much. Our Song is The Way He Laughs. First date, man, I didn't kiss him and I should have. Like if you know, you know. But also that kind of like sneaking out late, tapping on your window, you know, like nobody knows that we're like together, I would definitely say is giving Done and Dusted, and again bringing in that country vibe from the album. Brother's best friend, I'm pretty sure. But they've known each other like forever. She kind of goes off and she is this professional horse rider. She does like horse riding, but she comes back to their small town, but he's grown up around the family and they all know each other, so things start heating up. And then I also have The Summer of Broken Rules, because this one is so summery, so atmospheric, and it definitely packs an emotional punch, but also it's like meeting somebody kind of like running around, like sneaking around. Everybody's at this little island and like you're just kind of running around and like exploring this romance with another person. This next one is my favorite song on the album and is the song that I think about that like if there is one song that could kind of encapsulate a vibe within my relationship, it would be this song, I'm Only Me When I'm With You. This one is just so giddy. It is about being in a relationship with someone that you see as like your best friend, and again like everything kind of is about them and you're just like, I'm only me when I'm with you. Like I'm the most comfortable with you. Like I feel like I can let loose and just be myself. For this one specifically, it really made me think of Better Than the Movies. Better Than the Movies is definitely, I think, one of my favorite young adult books that I've ever read, period. It gets you that giddy feeling. But I feel like it really gives the vibe of I'm only me when I'm with you. When Liz and Wes are together, it literally just feels like that giddiness between two people who have always known each other. The banter is great. They just kind of get along so well, and it just gives you that like giddy, excited feeling that that song gives. We're going to end off this video with A Perfectly Good Heart, and this song is definitely about heartbreak. It's about trusting somebody, and it kind of reminds me of like teenage heartbreak, of like falling in love with somebody, giving them your all, and then like even in the song it says like my unbroken heart, like I want my heart to be unbroken again. Like my heart has never been broken by somebody like this, and now it is because you broke my heart. I would say that it reminds me of Saving and Redeeming 6. If you know the couple in this book, it definitely gives that. Like the girl is so devoted, and so is the guy. Like they are devoted to each other, but there is so much more at stake and going on on in their worlds that they cannot help but hurt each other. You definitely have to read the first 2 books, which I would always recommend to do anyway. Binding and Keeping 13, hello. This book is not even out yet. I have not got my hands on this book yet, but I will say that just listening to the song reminds me of the premise of Nothing Like the Movies. Those are all of the recommendations that I have for you guys that are kind of giving me debut vibes, giving these song vibes. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got some new, fresh recommendations from this video. First of all, I hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe if you haven't listened to Debut in a while, go give it a listen. Most of all, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff that you guys know how to do. This was the first video in the new book room, so I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. I'll see you for another one in this same room when I see you. Peace.